Hey folks, this is Nate coming at you on Sunday, May 5th. So happy Revenge of the 5th Day. Hope all of you had a great May 4th, May 5th weekend. I know I did, had a lot of fun. And so tonight, what I'd like to do is present to you my episode 3 installment of my Canon Bladestyles project demo. So tonight what I'm going to be doing is I decided to do an abbreviated version of this config. Originally I had, and I still do, I have presets for all of the different EP3 light side, dark side sound fonts that I own in my library. But doing all of them in one config, even splitting up into two, would probably be very, very long videos. And so in an effort to sort of shorten that and just show you the good stuff, what I decided to do was take one preset for each character, and then just put that in a config and show you sort of that base template for the style code for each of these characters that I've come up with. So the exception is there's going to be two for Anakin. There's going to be a light side Anakin and a dark side Anakin, both blue styles, but slightly different. So let's get started. So the first one is going to be the bold one from KSith, and this is Obi Wan Kenobi. And this is my EP3 Kenobi blue, and this is using see a very, very small amount in the red channel, some in the green, and then predominantly blue. So the full RGB on this one is a 3 in the red channel, 15 in the green channel, and then 255 in the blue channel. And this is a rotoscope. Focused deep red blasts. Now, Obi-Wan's blade color, his blue, didn't change a whole lot between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Changed a tiny bit, but not very much. Nothing noticeable. But I do love this version of blue. It's very rich, very deep colored blue.
May the Force be with you.
For your own good, stay out of this affair.
And this is Amethyst Warrior, and this is my Mace Windu. Now, Mace Windu's purple does change between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And this one has a little bit more red in this one. Just a teeny bit, I'd say about 5 to 10% more red on this one than his purple in Attack of the Clones. And I think it has to do more with the way the differences in the filming, where his blade was ignited pretty much during the daylight in Attack of the Clones, whereas in Revenge of the Sith, he's fighting in a sort of a dark chamber with Sidious, and so the backdrop is a little bit darker, so it makes the blade look a little bit brighter. And this is also a rotoscope style. Fast Fade from FET's OS6 class library. Modified a little bit where I'm shortening the bump size on this. Now, for most of these, with the exception of Grievous, for most of these style codes, I didn't worry too much about like the tip drag and the melt, because in episode 3, most of these characters didn't use that effect on their sabers. The exception being General Grievous using specialized tip drag, which I'll show you when we get to that one. But most of the color matching that I did with Mace Windu was with his fight with Sidious in the council chambers towards the end of the movie.
Anakin Skywalker.
And so this one is Chosen One Hero from KSith. And this is the light side version of Anakin. And this is a rotoscope. Now this one, even though it looks similar to Kenobi's, this one has a little bit more in the green channel. So, just as a quick, let me give you a quick example of the differences. So, Kenobi's was a 3 in the red channel, a 15 in the green channel, and a 255 in the blue channel. For Anakin, I'm using a 15 in the red channel, a 55 in the green channel, and a 255 in the red channel. So you can see the red and the green are amped a little bit more. So there's about, I would say, 20 to 25% more green in Anakin's blue than in Kenobi's. This is Yoda, and this sound font is Little Green Friend ROTS from Kyberphonic. And this is not a rotoscope on this one. This is a single color transition loop Bladestyle that I put the style code that I'm using. So Yoda's green is somewhere between a chartreuse and a true green. Somewhere between a chartreuse and a standard green. So it's using 14 in the red channel, 237 in the green channel, and then 5 in the blue channel. So it's nice and bright. And I am using a slightly bright pale swing on this one.
I sense Count Dooku.
Okay, and this is Count Dooku, and this is, I'm using the Count's Claw RTS from Kyberphonic, and this is a rotoscope. Now this is a slightly customized red, and on the main blade I'm using a half step of the color value, and then what I'm doing is I'm using the full value of the custom red on the swing, which brightens it just a little bit. So this red is a 255 in the red channel, and then an 8 in the green channel, and a 0 blue channel. So it's 255 8. So it's not quite an orange red. And what I did with the blasts for both Dooku and for Palpatine was I decided to do this multi-transitional layer blast where I use a smaller bump size for containment, and the bump itself is sort of like a darker gold or dark yellow with white splatter sparks and sparking in the middle. And Dooku's lockup has less orange in it than Anakin and Obi Wan's does. It has a little bit more yellow, but less orange. So it's, you can show that again.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
And this sound font is Grievous High from Kyberphonic. And this is sort of a double audio flicker with a bright green swing. So it has sort of like a vibration strobing effect, very subtle. And that's mostly because that's sort of the effect it gives off when he does those really high velocity swings. When he's wielding like 4 at a time, and he's doing that. So I wanted to try and capture that effect, and in order to do that, I basically, on the main blade, it's using like an audio flicker up top, and then a static main blade, or a static on top audio flicker underneath that, and then I'm using a bright swing underneath that. And then this is his tip drag. Which is sort of that burning ground tip drag that he does when he's when he's sort of melting the floor as he's spinning his sabers around. And this sound font I'm using for Palpatine is Emperor from JuanSith. And this is a rotoscope. Now this red was a little tricky. Finally came upon it after a lot of testing. And what this value is this is a 231 in the red value, a 9 in the green value, and then a 3 in the blue. So it's 231, 9, 3. Now you can see it's just a tad bit brighter than Dooku's. A little bit, it's a little lighter, but it's also a little brighter. And the trick was coming up with one that looked as accurate as I could get it without it turning too pink. That was really the challenge, was finding this value without it being too pink. Now I'm using the same focus blast for this Bladestyle that I use for Dooku's. The difference is the splatter effect I'm using. Instead of white sparks, I'm using more like a lemon yellow sparks on this piece. And now this is the dark side Anakin. Now this is still a blue blade, but there's a little variation on this one from his light side blade.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Now in this one, this color value I'm using, I forget if it's how much different it is. So for his light side chosen one hero, I was using a 1555 255, and on this one I'm using a 025 250. So the red channel, I removed all the values from the red channel, and then I deducted the green channel by about half, or excuse me, by about 2/3. So it's a little bit deeper blue. And this is mostly because in his fight with Obi Wan at the end of the movie on Mustafar, they're in a much darker setting, and so his blade looks a little bit different in that scene than it does in the scene where he's fighting with Dooku. And so I tried to account for that. Also, this one has a bright swing on it. Slayer 3000. Now, when I was doing a lot of my live series blade styles, like Kenobi series, Book of Boba Fett, stuff like that, you saw me using a lot of the modified versions of the responsive blast waves, where I was doing blast waves with sort of splatter sparkles in the middle of those blast waves. For these Canon styles, for the original movies, episodes 1 through 6, a lot of these blast effects are much more those focused single bump blasts, where I'm trying to do some multi-transitional layers within those to try and capture the effect as best I can, but there really are no blast waves effects really in these Canon movies from 1 through 6. They're really just these focused single blast points. And so I give FET263 a lot of credit for that, because in his OS6 class library, that ripple blast fade effect has been really, really useful in trying to get these a little bit more screen accurate. And then I also am using a very mild, subtle emitter flare on this one as well. But you can sort of tell it's responsive, so as you twist the blade, it'll grow and shrink.
Battery power level.
So those are the 8 presets that I've come up with for episode 3 for my Canon blade styles, and I hope you like them. And as always, I will post the style codes for these in my paste bin. And then what I'll also do is, even though I only used 8 sound fonts for this particular config, I'll go ahead and list out all of the different sound fonts that I built the original config around for this. So if any of you are looking for as many episode 3 good quality sound fonts as you can find, I'll list out all the ones that I own, that I put in the original config. This is sort of the abbreviated config where I just use like one of each. But I'll go ahead and give you the full list of the ones that I have and that I originally used when starting in on this project. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all had a great weekend, and I will see you on the next installment where we get into A New Hope and start looking at some Graflex stuff. So that'll be fun. All right, y'all, take care. May the Force be with you.